Welcome back to Peace Out Witches. I'm Stacy, and I believe in your inner magic. I'm here with Jamie, and this month we're stepping into one of the most astrological charged months of the year. March 2025 is bringing us deep transformation. Venus and Mercury are in retrograde. We have a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, the spring equinox, and Neptune entering Aries for the first time since the 1800s. This is not for the faint of heart, but this isn't chaos. It's a cosmetic cleanse, an initiation into your next level. Today, we're diving into what these planetary shifts mean for our personal growth, your business, and your spiritual practices. We're also going to pull a tarot card for the collective and give you rituals to help you work with these energies. So grab a tea, light a candle, and let's dive in. Before we start, though, if you love this episode, make sure to screenshot it, share it on Instagram, and tag us on Peace Not Perfection Academy. Let's get this episode into the hands of everyone who needs it.
Yeah, so before we begin, let's take a moment to just arrive and center into what we're about to dive into. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Exhale slowly, feel your body settle in. We are so happy that you are here. Close your eyes and feel the shift that's coming and the shift that's here and the cosmos around you. You may already feel it. Some of us are more sensitive. Some of us enjoy the retrogrades, and some of us dread the retrogrades, and others just live their life like nothing else is happening around them. And that's okay. So pulling in, let's pull this retrograde into us now with a deep breath in. And that eclipse energy is just going to kind of shake up our life a bit, shake up our energy. So shake your body if you need to and move around. And the spring equinox, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited. This is my new year, so I hope you join us for our spring equinox ceremony, but let that just come in and help balance out that shadow and light that you've been dealing with all winter long. Just breathe that in, breathing out and releasing, because now we are ready. We are ready to release our resistance. We're ready to align with your highest path. We're ready to trust the magic of new beginnings that comes with spring. And we are ready to dive deep into what March has to offer, which is wild. So open your eyes when you're ready.
So, this is a huge astrological month. We've got a lot of things going on in this month. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the stars. March 2025 is big, big, big. We've got some retrogrades, we've got some eclipses, and we have the rebirth of spring coming all at the same time. I think for many of us here in America, we've had some really intense winters this year. So, we're really going to be, coming out of that spring. So the breakdown of what to expect. So on Saturday, March 1st, Venus is going to go retrograde. This is really going to bring us a time to think about relationships, money, and self-worth. Venus also is in control of the divine feminine. So you can think about when she's going retrograde that, this is a time when she is really going to be frustrated and irritated by things that are not working out in her life. If things are working really well in her life and things are going the way that they're supposed to be going, then she's going to be able to reflect things that maybe she can work on systems or things that she needs to bring into her life that are just going to make her life better. So it doesn't have to be difficult, but Venus is very much divine feminine, very much runs the feminine for many of us here on Earth in that energy. And so as Venus is going retrograde and, you can kind of think about it like moving 10 steps back to move one step forward, right? Like there is really this backwards forward momentum and movement that we're going to have within our own emotions and within our ability to be able to like clear out a lot of these things that are no longer supporting us. Along with that, as of March 15th, we're going to have Mercury go retrograde. Now, I think that this is more the retrograde that everybody understands most about is this Mercury retrograde. It's what everybody hears about, right? Like when the computers start going and things like that. But this is really more a time when you can expect like delays, communication challenges, things within paperwork or like the divine masculine to not be working so well and be more chaotic again can be bringing up a lot of things within your own relationships in life, especially in the area of communication that just aren't working for you any longer. And this could even bring like frustrations of communications with like you and your lover that maybe you've been dealing with a lot and you're just seeing it kind of come back up like that old cycle that you always fight about. This is a really common time for those kinds of things to be brought up because when Venus and Mercury are both in retrograde, there's just this really like agitated feeling about a lot of the things that usually we're able to maybe put down, like maybe the triggers and things that we get triggered by. We're more triggered by them during these times than when they're not in retrograde. Do you have anything to add on that,
I
Jamie?
was going to say that eclipse season, full moons, especially retrogrades, heighten emotions. So being in tune with yourself and knowing your emotional state and what your triggers are, and then knowing that when you maybe feel like you're out of control a little bit, just reminding yourself to have grace and to know that this is just the season of of the emotions to be more intense. And it's okay. But I think that what this season calls for, especially with the eclipse and the planetary alignments, is that you allow. So if you've never done any surrendering in your life, or you know how to do surrendering pretty well, this would be that moment where you just surrender and you just allow, and you're going to allow yourself to feel all those feelings. And you know that those feelings are not going to last long. They're going to fleetingly go away and our joyful state will come in eventually. And I think that that's the problem. We hang on too much to those feelings. But if we can just learn during this month to just allow and release, surrender, release, whatever it is for you, create a mantra. So if you're triggered, you have a mantra to kind of like, oh yes, this
Hmm.
is it. Um,
Yeah.
you will move quickly through them, and then you'll take the lessons, and then you'll be able to elevate yourself and move forward in a different, actually as a different person. So this is a great opportunity for transformation.
Well, and with Mercury and Venus going retrograde, we have a really beautiful opportunity during the lunar eclipse on March 13th to 14th and until the partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th to be able to have a full circle practice around balancing light and dark, balancing divine feminine, having practices around shifting things that are bringing you spiritual fire and courage instead of things that are draining you or habits that are moving you into perfectionism and control instead of habits that are really allowing you to be like released into your divine feminine and feeling in the space of like receiving and being in the flow. There is a major activation that you can receive here during this time period from March 13th to March 25 that will really help with new beginnings, leadership energy, and being able to timeline jump or move very quickly into the things that you're calling into your life so that as you're jumping into April you're just like, oh my God, like this magical work that I did through March with these eclipses and with these retrogrades and with being able to notice like the triggers that are happening and the stories that I'm telling myself during this time and really releasing a lot of those things. This is the year of the snake, the wood snake. Like as these things are coming up, we're meant to release them. So these communication challenges that are coming up in our relationships, these habits that are coming up that lead us to perfectionism and control, those places where we're not confident or showing courage in our life. There's a major activation that can happen here and allow for a lot of new beginnings. And it can be the seed that you are building so that in April the flower can actually come. It's that idea that like March, I'm really going to be prepping the dirt and by doing this work with the lunar energies and the astronomical energies, I'm allowing myself then to blossom and flower as, April and May come in and these energies start to clear out because that's really what they're meant to do. They're meant to clear out all those things that aren't working for us or that are meant to be, a
Correct.
deep release.
And I feel like personally, March is a new year for me. That's when I begin my new year on my birthday month, but I also begin my new year cosmically with March because I feel like it's just energetically a time to go into the space of surrender and thinking of surrender as a piece of not necessarily, for instance, an example would be so we set out every day to achieve our goals and we have steps to go towards those goals and we have to take these actions to make it happen. I feel that February and March and that piece right before the transition to spring is that piece that we aren't forcing the changes. We are
Mm,
formulating the changes in our mind. We're constructing the vision of our who we are when we have those changes in our life. Because if we skip over that piece, those steps we actually take in physical life are not going to be sustained by anything. They're just ego. But if we take that time right now in the next, 3 to 4 weeks to really formulate the vision and live the future as if it is our own right now and have that surrender piece. That's where surrender, what I feel is surrender is just allowing my mind to have that daydream and to just surrender to whatever it brings to me because I start with like a seed and then it just evolves into its own vision. That is the vision I'm creating, and no amount of action is going to get me there right now. Not in this season, not with the eclipse, not with the um any of the Mercury retrograde, any of these alignments, planetary alignments. That's not going to make me get there. The energy is going to boost whatever I'm creating and formulating in my gestation period right now. So that when it's time to take that first step or to not, we're in deeply in surrender mode to this new path that's calling us and tugging us forward, then when it's time to take the actual steps to get to where we need to go on this plane, they're clearly marked for us. They're clearly there. These
mhm.
steps are laid out. And that's what this piece is. That's what this period is to me and how I would use it.
Well, and Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, it brings a slowing down. Part of the reason why they're in retrograde is oh, and
Yes.
as everything slows down and they take a minute, it's an opportunity for you to be able to look into all of the things and see above and slow down with it and get a very good, clear view of what it is that you are maybe trying to force or what it is that no longer serves you and you need to let go of.
Or
This
what
is
you're
a
allowing. Just
Yes,
what
or
you're
what you're
allowing.
allowing.
Mhm.
And it's a really important time to allow change. Like, I think that a lot of us want to have the nice, safe way to do things. There's a lot of things that I think we call into our life, and we don't want to jump off the cliff per se to grab them. We want like a nice, snazzy bridge that was built for us, that we can like step on and that we know is completely safe. And like 50 million people have went before us, and we know everything's going to be good. Unfortunately, that's not really how life works. And so, usually, what happens is that we have these forceful breakthroughs
Mm.
because we're trying to, run like I see the mouse on
The
the thing
wheel.
where they run, 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 run. Yeah, the mouse wheel. And this is that aspect where like the mouse wheel gets real slow and the mouse can choose to get off and like rest and enjoy these last little bits of winter and really, create the things that the mouse is calling in. Or the mouse can sit there and keep running, 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 thinking they're going to solve all the problems, all the solutions. And they're going to continue to like call in this thing that they know is no longer working because it's the safe way to go. And
Agreed.
really, if they would just jump off, right, then all those things that they're creating will be provided
Yeah.
because the
If they
time and
would jump
space
off.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And they could jump off and look at that wheel and imagine that wheel takes them right to the cheese. And they
Right.
can just sit there in that vision and actually live it like it's they're living it in real time. And that's
Yeah.
the speed right now. That's the subtle, that's Mercury and retrograde for me.
Yeah. And I love that
That's
Venus is with it because it's really, they're together, right? They're like working on, and
that's divine masculine
energetically,
and feminine. Yes.
yeah, energetically, we've spent a long time rising this divine feminine. This is the opportunity for the divine masculine to rise too. And there's this balancing, especially with spring equinox. A lot of us are starting to feel like a little bit more warmer weather, even though we've had a lot of snow. And so there's just these pieces that feel like breakthrough. We're seeing the little
Right.
flowers and we're seeing the work that we've done, and we're able to look and be grateful for the things that we have, created within ourselves and within our lives.
And it's a good time to reflect over the last 12 months.
Hmm.
Where have you come from? What were you doing last year this time? Where are you now? Where do you want to be 12 months from now? And not that you're taking action on anything right now. You're just allowing yourself to have the wins. Make sure you take time for the wins. I think we're so focused on achieving, and maybe some of us are so focused on not feeling, and we just kind of not allow ourselves to go there. But what have you achieved? What
Hmm.
little things that matter to you or to someone else that maybe you did something for? What did you do? What are those things? And allow them to just manifest in your paper, writing your journal or your thoughts, and allow yourself to really have gratitude for those things. I think it's important. I mean, how do we go forward and take a chance on our next year and all the goals we have to achieve if we don't look back and just appreciate where we came from in one
Hmm.
year? You don't have to do a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
and I
simple.
think sometimes that can be hard, to do a year. And so sometimes it might be even like the last few days, last few weeks. This opportunity is really just a time to ask, what am I holding on to that doesn't serve me? What communication things, what relationship things, what old stories from 20 years ago am I still bringing up in my relationship? Like what kind of things just are no longer serving me because I am activated, because I am living in a new beginning, because I am calling in everything that I want to call in. And then what are you ready to step into? What does your highest timeline look like? And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes in manifestation, we talk about like being specific. I'm so grateful and thankful for, but sometimes we don't need specific. Sometimes we don't even know what to be specific for. And so, I like the idea, especially during this time, of thinking about what are the big things that I'm ready to step into in my timeline that are maybe further ahead, but that I can step in right now. So, for example, maybe I'm calling into my business a certain amount of money that I have in mind. And maybe what I can do right now is I can be making sure that I am having good advertisements and good opportunities for people to meet me, or good opportunities for people to see me and my leadership skills. So these are all things that you can continue to create and move forward with. And the questions that you're asking yourself help you do that. So, what am I holding on to that doesn't serve me? And then what am I calling into my highest timeline? And again, does my highest timeline, are these old stories serving that timeline? Because I can't step into my new timeline if I'm still stuck with these old stories that really don't serve that new timeline. It's like the old vibration and the new vibration need to meet with each other, right? And so, in order for that to happen, I need to be able to, add flame to the fire, burn off some of those things that aren't working for me. And
And
the,
release and surrender all that shit. Like,
yeah.
really take a moment to do the magic that it takes to physically take them and burn it off and catalyze it, because you can do it mentally. That's fine. But I think there's something to say to writing it out and then burning it and watching those flames just devour it and transmute it. Release it. Release, release, release. I think healing, I believe the healing is all about releasing and leveling up, releasing, leveling up, releasing, leveling up. And at some point in your journey, you're going to go, I don't even recognize myself 10 years ago. That
Mm-hmm.
person 10 years ago was a patient of mine or a client of mine, like literally,
Mm-hmm.
because you become that new person and it's okay. Who cares what anybody says? Don't let people tell you you're wishy-washy and you change your mind and you do new things. Who fucking cares? Catalyze it. Burn the shit out of all the things that you're ready to release. Just burn it. Let it go. Let it go. Release. And this is a good time, that February to March. The full moons, the planetary alignments, the snake year. We are in that year. This is your
Mm-hmm.
year. Take the energy of the year and create what you want with your life. You do not need to manifest exactly what you want this year, but get rid of all the old skins that hold you
Mm-hmm.
back from who you want to become. That's this year.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be kind of in between. It's okay. Unless you're in between all the time, then that's a story. So then make sure you're not in between all the time. But if you're not always in between all the time, and that's a new feeling for you, getting out
Mm-hmm.
of your comfort zone, get out of your comfort zone and
Well,
do
and
it.
if you need help with this, we do lunar new moon, full moon ceremonies, and we also have a membership with Lunar Alchemy where we support women who are moving from surviving to thriving and women who are also opening their businesses. So there's lots of opportunity for support if you feel like you need it or you feel like you have old stories or old patterns and you just want someone to be able to support you and help you with that. We are mentors, coaches, and we believe that everybody has inner magic and is capable of being on their highest timeline and living their best self. So I did pull cards for March's
Okay.
energy. They're
Okay, what
very
is
beautiful cards. So I think it's really, important to understand sometimes when we're pouring, things like tarot cards that everybody has interpretations that are a little bit different and that this is a collective energy. So what I did was I just asked what collectively do we need to know to support us in March? What collectively do we need to know to support us in March? And so the first card I got was our cup
oh my
card.
gosh. The Ten of Cups?
The Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is like a really rainbow happy card. The Ten of Cups is really like talking about, the fact that the work is done, the darkness is done, you've done all the work, you're where you need to be, you have arrived.
And
So what
most
that tells me with like all these astronomical things that Jamie and I just talked about is that this is the time to do the work, and what you're going to get out of it is all that you wanted, all that you created, all that you're
people
calling in,
love
right? That
work.
you get to, yeah, you get to live in the abundance of 10 cups, right? The second one was the Chariot.
Oh, I love the Chariot.
So again, that's why, this
The
abundance card of the Ten of Cups is telling me to like do the work over this, Mercury retrograde and over these solar eclipses because the Chariot's ready to do the work. He's ready to go, but he's also solid in his foundation of what it's going
He's
to,
already done it. He's
yeah.
celebrating all that he's accomplished. Others are celebrating with him.
Yeah, and he's able to quickly manifest and process through the things that are around him or that are needed for him to live his best life. And he has all that he needs. And then the last one was the Queen of Wands.
Oh, I love that. So that's magic. Where is in your life where you find your most transformation and that you feel that you are in control of and confident over? It's that piece that you're a passionate person. The Queen of Wands is passionate and magical, and she's finding her ability to manifest being like, which god was it that turned everything into gold? I can't remember the name, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
queen,
You mean the
yeah, that's
King
the
Titan?
yeah, that's the Queen of Wands.
Uh-huh.
She thinks it and she's like, "Oh, I want this to happen in my life." And then it magically appears. So this is
Mm-hmm.
combination of the three is definitely March is your month to have the success that you've always wanted, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you're taking action right now. It
Yeah.
means that you are fundamentally releasing, surrendering, and allowing, and then
Mm-hmm.
taking steps based on what comes in front of you.
And surrendering, releasing, and allowing are not easy to do.
No, they're not. But
I
that's
think
the
we
divine
sometimes,
feminine.
yeah, I think sometimes we talk about that like it's just like easy
Yeah.
to do. Like it's just easy to surrender. It's just easy to learn the
No,
lesson, or it's just easy to
I'm
understand. But
feeling, yeah,
this is
no.
a big time to be getting in nature. This is a big time to be getting in water. This is a big time to be calling in your tools, calling in the things that you use. And these cards are telling us, yeah, the work's done. But what it also tells me is like when those patterns come up, those old patterns come up with Saturn and Venus,
Mm.
Mercury, retrograde. Sorry, not Saturn. When Venus and Mercury retrograde, old patterns come up. The chariot tells us, I already see them.
Yeah,
I can
I've had
immediately
success.
see this pattern and I can note that this is an old pattern that I have with my husband that like I stopped doing a
Mhm.
long time ago. And I immediately see the pattern. I can notice the pattern. I can observe the pattern and I can let it go. I don't have to be triggered and
Mhm.
create the same story that I created every other time around that same fight or that same pattern that has always been.
So I like what you're saying. So the Venus retrograde between March 1st and April 12th,
Uh-huh.
that centers around love, money, self-worth, business.
Divine
So
feminine.
for entrepreneurs, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to maybe, if things are not working the way you want them to, rethink your branding. And
Mm-hmm.
branding could just be reevaluating who your North Star client is, who is that ideal client. And then also colors. What colors are trending? Even if they aren't your favorite colors, it doesn't matter. If there's a trend of colors, it kind of appeals to most people at the time. That's going to draw them into whatever you're putting out there on your social media. So, like thinking
Mm-hmm.
about those things. And then for like personal growth or relationships, it's about, rekindling old relationships that were meaningful for you. So friendships, even love interests, and also just healing those repetitive cycles that don't serve you. Like Stacey said, if you feel yourself going right into a pattern that you're no longer resonating with, just stop it. Just
Yeah.
stop. What's the worst that can happen? Your spouse, lover, partner may continue their triggering and what they do when you go into that pattern, but you've stopped. You've
Mm-hmm.
stopped. And just
Mm-hmm.
continue to stop, stop, stop. That's the only way to change a behavior is just to not do it. Don't do it and find another behavior.
Well, and I think that that's important to, note that when we're talking about retrogrades, especially of, some of the bigger planets like Venus and, Mercury retrograde, these are times to slow down.
Oh, yes.
And I think everyone thinks when spring starts, it's time to like run, 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 go, go, go. But it's
Speed up.
really still the time in March, to be prepping the bed, to be prepping the
Right.
dirt, to be prepping the place that you're going to be putting the seeds into, to be maybe putting your seeds in the, greenhouse and starting those babies. But it's still a
Just
time of
gentle.
gentleness, right? Gently waking up,
Yes.
not rushing, rushing, go, 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 provide, provide, do, do, do. It's still the slowness of, if you were to watch, like I live, in a forest. I have my own little forest here. And so the forest wakes up slowly, but you can already see parts of the forest waking up. I can look at the trees and I can see the little buds that are all going to have leaves on them and flowers on them. I can look at the trees and be able to see the new branches that are sprouting, but they're still going to do it slowly. I'm not going to look in my forest in March and it be completely green. So, it's really just that time to slow down and work with the energies within yourself. Now, for the solar eclipses and spring equinox, we do have a spring equinox ritual that we're going to be doing. If you'd like to join us, it is a free event. We do one free event every single month. We try to center it around you know, um, the magic
Equinoxes.
of the
Right.
month
Right.
or the thing that is being called in for that month. And we also do full moon and new moon ceremonies. So if you'd like to be a part of one of those, we would love to invite you to our spring equinox. It is going to be a cosmic reset, working with fresh energy and really being able to balance, the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the light and dark within us all.
Mhm.
So, some ways though, in the meantime, that you can call in spring equinox or work with the solar eclipse. Eggs are a really great way, if you can bring in like decorated eggs to the altar, flowers, things that are going to symbolize balance. So like my daughter today, she was outside playing and the snow has melted here. And so she brought me a little dandelion that had like lived through the snow, and she was so excited. It was the one flower out there that had like made it. So um it's
Mhm.
really about calling in those little symbols of things that remind us of earth, remind us of grounding, remind us of balance, and remind us a little bit about like what we're here for. I mean, really, like we're all here to live, enjoy, and to experience life and to awaken to breath and the body and experience all of our senses. And I think sometimes we just go, go, go so often that we even forget to smell or we forget to taste or we forget to truly listen. And so this is just a time to really think about what kind of things you can call into your space that are going to help you remember the intentions that you're calling into your life. And then a fun practice is to write down the intentions. We love to take an egg and once you have like cracked it and eaten your egg out of it, you have the eggshell. Sometimes you can just put like a little hole in the top and pour out the egg and eat it, and then take the eggshell, dry it out for a day or two, and then write some intentions and maybe put them in the egg. You can put some seeds in there, and you can put that egg and your intentions and the seeds, in the earth and grow them for spring. That's a really beautiful way to be able to watch something grow in front of you. Um, I would recommend doing it with a few seeds. Sunflowers are great. Flowers are great. I don't recommend doing it with like vegetables or things like that because they don't always work out. And then it can just kind of feel defeating. Like the thing I manifested an intention didn't grow. And that can
Right.
feel kind of sad. So, obviously Jamie and I are talking here about energy and energetic things. And so, we want to put energy towards the things we want to grow and we want to help them grow. If it's something new that we're growing that we don't know is going to grow, we might not want to put magic under that one thing because it might
Now, I'm just
feel
gonna
sad.
mention feel when you're ready and you feel called to spring clean your house, do it. This is
Hmm.
like, I mean, I know society tells us to do it, but it's absolutely energetically the right time to clear out the shadows of winter. And you could do it incrementally. It doesn't need to be done in one day. You could pick a spot and just know that you're going to bless that area and cleanse it with smoke or whatever sound, however you cleanse it, and then physically cleanse it, and then take whatever is in that space that you don't no longer need or want and donate it, and just go through each of your spaces over the next few weeks and do that, because energetically you're wanting to level up your home and level up your temple space, including your body space. So then if you feel called to do any kind of cleansing or purging with your body, and you do it in a safe manner, we're not medical professionals, go ahead and learn about whatever it is you're inclined to do with your body. But I like to do my own cleansing during this time. I do a lot of cleanses from now until midsummer. And that's just how I kind of get reconnected with my body too. And Stacy likes to do yoga and other kinds of movement, somatic movement. And we also teach that in our academy. So if you have any interest in learning about somatic movement or somatic breathing or breath work, then reach out to us or check out our website, because we do have a lot of different classes available in different programs that we have.
And I think sometimes, a lot of us in winter are hermiting, right? We're inside. We are not feeling like moving our body. We're not feeling like sitting out in the sunshine and taking deep breaths. It's cold. We want to be in bed. We want to be in the fire. It's a very different energy. And so, as the spring energy comes, it's great to be thinking about the things that you can spiritually cleanse out of your life. Do you need a digital detox? Do you need to go into your computer and clear out emails and old projects? Are you in a place where your computer has way too many files and you can't ever find anything in it? Do you need to spend an hour or two clearing that out? Are you having certain spaces in your home that just don't feel good and you want to energetically work within them? Smoke cleansing is great. Palo Santo, lavender, rosemary, sage, any of those things that you may be called to. Each of them has a different thing that they support you with in cleansing the home. That's not as important as just doing the things that you feel called to for cleansing. This is also a really great time for salt baths, for any kind of parasite cleanses, and for metal detox cleanses. So these are all the kinds of things that we would be doing with ourselves and with our family during this time. And, so we're going to be taking like a lot of salt baths because it's going to be helping us with detox. We're going to be doing a lot of parasite cleanses because we're home more often. And, we're trying to make sure that our body is cleansing and clear as we're moving into, some of these spring energies. And we're going to be doing more. We're going to be out on the boat and at the lake and doing fun things. And so we want to make sure that our, physical body is clear and our energy is clear as well. And so
Okay.
it's just a great time to take a look, right? Take count. I mean, really, I feel like
Yeah.
today was really that aspect of like, if we take the opportunity and the time to
Mm,
do the shadow work, to do the cleansing, to do the clearing, to sit with the emotions that we're feeling and not just stuff them aside and move on and roll on with our day, then we're going to be receiving all that we're calling in. We're going to be receiving all that the queen calls in. We're going to be receiving all that the rainbow and the home and the cups provide, right? It's this aspect of renewal and peace and joy and transformation that
yes.
comes from being willing to slow down, take a look,
Mhm.
and um, you know, spend some time figuring out where I need to cleanse. My
Yeah.
body, my soul, do I need to read some better books? Maybe I'm not watching very good movies. Maybe every
I've
night
been
I'm
really
watching
called
shows that make me sad or, make me
personally,
feel.
I've been really called to being quiet. Like, how can I do silent meditation for like 24 hours in my life?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
know that my own personal life, I have people who would support me in that, so I could probably make that happen. But I'm feeling called to that right now. So what are you being called to? What does your heart say? What keeps coming up? What keeps appearing for you? What
Yeah.
keeps showing up that calls you and you feel called to and you feel that tug, that knowing that if you do this thing that they're saying, it will take you somewhere that you need to be. Whether it can be subtle, it can be bigger. It doesn't matter. So we just, always using that bright mind and that soul connection to God or whomever you reach out to, universal goodness, the great goodness, but always listening to that and then always making sure you're in a safe space. We don't ask that you put yourself in any danger, but what are you being called to this in the next 3 weeks? And how
Hmm.
can you be courageous to show up there
Hmm.
without you're going to carry forward some of your old beliefs because until you reach the next part of your life, those old beliefs are still going to be there. But once you step into it fully, they're no longer going to be there. So, what are you stepping into? Where can you take the step? What are you being called to? Where is it? And it can be as subtle as cleaning your house,
Hmm.
deep diving into your house. It could be as strong as important as starting a new business. It could be all things, but just what is it?
Well, and this energy is about that intensity. It's about taking action. It's about slowing down and taking action at the same time, right? Because in retrograde we're slowing down, but we're still taking action. And the solar eclipses, they're there to show us where we have resistance and where shine light on the things that aren't working. So continue working through those. We always love to leave you with a little affirmation or ritual. So for March, we're going to close on an empowerment ritual. And if you'd like to repeat after me, today's affirmation is I trust the divine timing of my life. I trust the divine timing of my life. and trust the divine timing of my life. I release resistance and welcome transformation. I release resistance and welcome transformation. I release resistance and welcome transformation. And the last one, I am ready to step into my highest path. I am ready to step into my highest path. I am ready to step into my highest path. We suggest you pick one of these affirmations, maybe use them, work with them over the month. And if you're experiencing any resistance or you're needing support or you're feeling like you're living in survival and you no longer want to be there, you want to be living in thrival, you want to be transformed, join us for Lunar Alchemy, for Deep Moon Magic, Rituals, and Astrology. We always love to get to know our community and love supporting you on a monthly basis with our moon alchemy and our full moon and new moon ceremonies. So until next time, stay grounded, stay radiant, and remember, we believe in your inner magic.